Hi, I'm Lorraine Walker, owner of Silverbridge Coffee Company. I often get asked, should I buy my coffee ground or whole bean? It's one of the most common questions that we get asked when we're at farmers markets and when we're out around people. So today we're going to discuss the pros and cons of ground coffee versus whole bean coffee. First of all, if you know that you're very rushed in the morning, you have a long commute, and you don't have time in the morning before work to grind your coffee, then you're going to want to buy your coffee ground. Perhaps you have small children. You do not want the noise of a grinder when you first wake up in the morning. You might have a couple minutes apiece, so you're going to want to buy your coffee already ground. And if you buy your coffee ground, what do you do to keep it fresh and to make sure that you get the best cup of coffee you can out of that ground coffee? First of all, you're going to want to make sure that you buy it fresh and you keep it fresh. You're not going to want to buy enough for a month. If you order from Silverbridge Coffee online and you're getting your $50 free shipping, take the bags that you're not going to open immediately and place them in your freezer. Make sure that they're not next to your lasagna or anything like that, but all of our bags are sealed. They have a one-way valve on them, and you can store your grind coffee there until you're ready to open your next bag. The bag that you have out, you're going to want to make sure that you store it in a cool, dry place. There are 3 enemies for fresh coffee, and that is time, oxygen, and light. So you order it fresh from us. We write our roast date on the back of every bag so you know when your coffee was roasted. And then you're going to want to make sure after you open the bag and you break that seal on the top, after you use your coffee each day, roll it down, press out all the oxygen, and that's when you take this clip that we put on top of the bag and you store it so that no oxygen is getting in there. And then don't pour it into anything clear like a quart jar or anything where the light would shine through on it, because if you do, that will make your coffee stale more quickly. When somebody says to me, should I buy my coffee whole bean or ground? The second question that I ask them is, what kind of grinder do you have at home? A lot of people have been either gifted this grinder or have bought a grinder like this, and these are what we call blade grinders. So any grinder in it that has a blade in it that goes around like that is basically, it's not grinding your coffee, it's chopping your coffee. It's just something that's cutting it into little pieces. And it is impossible to get an even grind in a blade grinder. When you press the little button to grind your coffee like this, what's going to happen is around the outside edges of the coffee, you have a lot of big, large pieces, and inside you have finely ground coffee. And what's going to happen when you pour that into your drip grinder is it's not going to extract properly, because with coffee, you are going to grind it based on how long it's going to come in contact with water. So just to kind of make that make sense in your own mind, you all know that if you have a French press, you get a coarse ground. And we all know that if you go into a coffee shop and you're getting espresso or you're making espresso at home, you want a very fine grind. And that's because with an espresso machine, the flavor is extracted quickly, and so it's a very fine grind. But with a French press, it's coarse, and it's going to come in contact with the water for longer. When you have a blade grinder, you get both types of grinds in one grinder, and it's just not going to produce a great cup of coffee for you. So if this is all you have, then you are definitely going to want to buy your coffee ground. And if you have one of these, I would suggest that you use it for grinding spices or something like that that can be chopped without losing the attributes that you want of it. But not everybody has a lot of money to put into this, but you still want a good cup of coffee in the morning. So this is actually a mill grinder. It is very convenient, it's easy to use, it's actually pretty quiet, even if you want to just grind coffee in the morning because you have small children at home. You pour the coffee inside there, you put the handle back on, you're going to want to grab it and you just grind it like this. And it's really a nice thing because you get an upper body workout while you're grinding your coffee. So you're taking care of 2 things. You got your exercise and you're brewing your morning cup of coffee. This is a fabulous gift for somebody that loves great coffee, that travels a lot, because this goes very easily into your suitcase. It costs about $20, readily available, and you get an evenly ground coffee in this little tube down here that you can use. Now, what you do not have here is the ability to change the type of grind. So this is all basically done for a drip grind. You can use it for a pour over, but if you want something coarse for a French press or fine for espresso, this is not your grinder, because you can't adjust the grind on this. You're just getting fresh ground coffee, but it is really budget friendly. It's very portable and it's quiet. So that's why I like to point this out as a good opportunity for some people to grind their coffee that otherwise would not. The great thing about this grinder is it's great for drip grind, or if you happen to go into espresso. This has an attachment where you can put your portafilter right under there and grind into it. This grinder allows you to grind it coarse, grind it fine, grind it for drip. You can choose however you're going to brew your coffee for that day. And honestly, there are a lot of people who have like a weekend coffee ritual, and then they have a weekday coffee ritual. If you want to up your coffee game, spring for one of these great burr grinders. They are worth the money. Put it on your Christmas list. Ask Santa to bring it to you. Ask for it for Mother's Day. Ask for it for Father's Day. Whatever you have to do to get one, you'll never be sorry that you get one of these burr grinders. And the great thing about these is that they last for years and years. They're real workhorses. The grinder is not something that you have to replace on a regular basis. So it's kind of worth that investment to grind the coffee every morning fresh. And you see that it does have coffee out in the little part on the top. Again, you're just going to want to pour in enough for a day or two. You're not going to want to leave coffee sitting in that because it is not airtight. You do have oxygen coming in there. There is some sunlight that comes in. So again, don't fill this thing to the top just because it's big, because these are enough of a workhorse that actually coffee shops will use these often for their espresso and for their coffee within the shop. This is an expenditure of about $140. So this is $14.99 and really not worth that money at all. This is about $20 and definitely worth the money. And this is about $130 to $150. And it's not this specific brand. You're going to just want to look for any burr grinder that is set up like this. And there are a lot of different price points for them, but all of them are over $100. And when you invest in a grinder, you really will see a difference in the quality of your coffee in the cup. I hope that this video that we've put together will help you make the decision of what's best for you, ground or whole bean. And if you are going to grind your coffee, we've given you the don'ts and then the two things that will up your coffee game depending on the budget that you have to spend. Also, we're always happy to answer your questions on our Facebook page, Silver Bridge Coffee Company, on our Instagram, and we have lots of fun videos on our TikTok that you can follow us. Ask us questions. We love to talk coffee with people who love coffee, so never hesitate to reach out if you have further questions.